had some juicy gossip from
I
the
s-
Moncton, New Brunswick region you wanted to talk about
I
today?
have some unfortunate COVID juicy gossip. And it might not be that juicy at this point. It was news to me. So I first of all got a call that they're starting the booster shots in the old people because they
Mhm.
wanted to know if my mom wanted to get hers. So they're doing third doses. And then simultaneously, somebody called me to let me know that they know one of the people who has recently passed away from COVID. And I heard all of this, the story around that one of the like smaller old folks homes that only has like 20 or 30 people, apparently a nurse, and this, like, not to blame anyone, everyone did the most that they could, but it sounds like this nurse's child had contracted it because they were not vaccinated because they were under a certain age, brought it home to the mom who had no symptoms, who then went to work, who then somehow passed it on to 6 elderly people at this home, including my friend's grandmother and the boyfriend of the grandmother. And the boyfriend passed away due to COVID, unfortunately, and is one of the deaths in New Brunswick, which is extremely sad. And just apparently also very strange that they like the I'll blame Blaine Higgs.
That's the I just came up with that yesterday, and I was like, how did I not think blame Higgs? Like,
Blame
can
Higgs.
someone meme that? I know there's a New Brunswick memer. Can we get him to blame Higgs?
Blame Higgs.
Something. Maybe start a
Um,
hashtag for the 2024 elections. Sorry, that's
um,
actually a really sad story. It's not juicy gossip at all. I didn't know
it's
what you were gonna say,
Well,
but
my
go
juicy
on.
gossip
Yeah,
was the
so
booster shot, but yeah, I guess we're gonna blame Higgs that there hasn't been enough funding, because I guess the staff at this specific home has been like not core and rotating so much that when these people called to confirm that this person passed away, even though there's only like 20 people at the home, they had to double check like the name and the room and go through a whole thing just to make sure they knew what person everyone was speaking about. And it's not like my mom's home where there's hundreds. So super unfortunate. My gossipy part about the booster is sort of in partnership with Justin Trudeau saying, that there's going to be a Canadian passport across the board with a QR code for all of the provinces, and that will help with international travel. Are we to assume that this third booster shot will also be required, and the first and second wouldn't be enough to go overseas? I have a lot of questions.
that is a great question, because it's natural to think that it would progress towards that eventually,
Mm-hmm.
especially as new variants come out and as COVID spreads. A lot of the conspiracy theories that we heard about in the beginning actually materialized and turned out to be true. They're just in a bit slightly different way. Like, I remember way back in the beginning of COVID with restrictions, there was all these rumors about concentration camps being built near the airports to hold, and that the term concentration camp made it seem, you know Nazi-ish.
Yes.
But it turned out that there were camps later on in which, if you were not I believe vaccinated or something, you had to stay there. Like, the army was there and you couldn't leave the airport for X amount of days. You had to be shipped off to a specific hotel and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So I wonder if the third booster is going to be included in the vaccine passport. Did you? I won't ask. I was going to ask if you decided to give your mom the third booster, but that's
No,
private information.
I'll share, of course. I like she's about to be 71, and in December will be entering her 7th year with dementia. I count my blessings every year that we've had this many years with dementia, because I don't know how long you can live with that illness. So I'm like, I definitely said yes. Also, just in terms of, I would worry about, the frailty of everyone else who's there. I wouldn't want, I don't know, like, people do like visit my mom. My godmother does, her second cousin does. I would hate for my mom to, without that booster, be a vector to other people somehow, especially with what's going on at this other nursing home. I'm a little worried because with her second with her second dose, she almost died. And I'm not even exaggerating, because they did call me and say she might not make it. We've never seen her in this state. And so I'm a little worried that the booster is just going to keel her over, but I will assume not, and that she's going to be fine. And that when the time comes, I will also get it so that I can go see her, because she is currently my priority, which is a weird dynamic, but I'll take it. So yeah, I did sign her up for it. They called while I was on the train and then sent an email out to everybody saying that they would be getting them, I believe, this week. So I don't know how long it'll take before they start to encourage able-bodied, non-immunocompromised regular citizens to be next on the list. Given how long it took the last time, who knows what's happening now. It is the same thing that she received as well. So she was double vaxxed with Moderna, and it's going to be Moderna again. I don't know if it's because that's what she had before. I don't know if what the science behind getting a Pfizer, Moderna, and then a different booster is, or what kind of configurations can happen there, because I didn't continue science in university. I flunked chemistry in university, though I did major in chemistry in university for a full year. So yeah, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. It does feel like all of the things that the vaccinated people have been saying to the unvaccinated people of like, this is just temporary until COVID ends, and you should get vaccinated to help move this along quicker. But because they're taking so long, I'm a little worried that we're just going to live this way, where we will have to provide immunization records to go to, Germany, Sweden, Greece, wherever the heck we want to go, and to be able to live our lives. Had to show record of vaccination for all the activities I did this weekend here in Toronto. So feels a little bit like a new norm, and I don't know that it's going to go away.
Yeah, it may not. It may go away in a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, or this may be the new norm. I mean, yeah, it's hard. I see both sides of the coin. I'm double vaccinated, but I see both sides of the coin, and I see why there's the resistance, not just to masks and not just to vaccines, but to people who think it's part of a bigger picture, a shift in society, and a seizure of government control over the people. Sort of like these novels you read about, where of a dystopian future, or I think that's the wrong term.
No, dystopian's right, because utopian is the good, so dystopian's bad.
Right, but I mean, like, I lost my train of thought there. But so I'll go on to something else. Yeah, so the third booster is coming up for seniors, and then there'll be us, and then there's the whole other dynamic. If there's any parents listening here, that it's now we are going to start have to considering whether we're going to vaccinate our kids 5 to 12. I happen to have 3 kids between that age, and that's a weird feeling. I got both my vaccines. I don't think there's going to be any dangerous side effects for them. I wasn't first in line, that's for sure. Definitely not last in line either. But it's like, okay, like, I don't know if I'll be first in line to get my kids vaccinated. I kind of want to let that data roll in. It's a really weird feeling. If there's parents listening, I'd love to hear their thoughts on that in the comments or something like that. And the other thing I was going to say, regarding government control, is, global catastrophes and global things lead to permanent changes in society that the government promises us are only temporary, like taxes in North America, for instance. Taxes were created during World War I as a temporary measure to help fund the war and support the troops, and boom, here we are 100 years later, taxed more than we have ever been taxed before. So we feel good because we're the people, quote unquote, doing what's right, doing what the science says, doing our part. At the other end of it, it's hard not to see I think all of us have a rebel in us, and I think we're the people who have older parents and people to protect are more inclined to fall in line. But I mean, someone in society has to fight back and try to slow down what the government's trying to do. I think it is for the better good of public interest at this point. But the question you brought up is a good one. Where is it going to just keep? We told everyone this is temporary, and it hasn't been at all. So where is it going to go from here? Are we going to actually get those freedoms back, or is it just the masks might go away, but is it going to be stricter control? Like, do we need to get body scans before we go into a building in the future when that technology advances, and stuff like that?
I think, and like the conversation I've been having with the few of my friends that aren't vaccinated is I think that I just have a weird perspective as someone with so many intersectionalities. Like I've never believed that the government was on my side. I don't
Yeah.
find this behavior to be shocking. Like if we had conversations not that long ago about photos being taken of Black people at BLM marches and being cross-referenced with police data, then how is a vaccine passport really infringing that much on my rights if I can't go to a protest and maybe have a photo of me be compared with data in a police database? So is it really all that different? I don't think I ever believed the government was on my side. I have a social insurance number. I have a license. I know that they know everything that I do. And I think that the question about falling in line or not, like you've got to pick your battles. I'm survival of the fittest. I am one little gal out here for the moment, trying to keep her cat alive. And until it gets to Hunger Games, I'm going to conserve my energy, and then we'll see what happens if I need to start like wielding a hammer. For now, I'm just going to pack on the calories and eat cookies and try to bolster up all my energy until like a real fight comes. But I like the people who just find this like really shocking. I definitely don't. I do think that it is supposed to be for the betterment of society, getting vaccinated and protecting the elderly. I can see where the slippery slope is, though. I just don't find it shocking behavior from the 1% that benefited from the pandemic the whole time anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we'll have to continue to monitor, obviously, and see what happens. We live in a crazy world.